walk through the male-dominated legacy of rebel leaders to place herself firmly in the history of slave rebellions. Her name was Carlota Lukumi. Lukumi was kidnapped from her home in Africa when she was around the age of 10 and taken to Cuba. Lukumi lived and worked as a slave on the Triunvirato sugar plantation. The mill was owned by the powerful Alfonso Sola family. Enslaved men, women and children worked long days all year round in the plantation. It was back-breaking work, not forgetting that the overseers and drivers had whips, and they used them to force enslaved people to work even harder. As the mistreatment continued, so did the resentment from the slaves. On November 3, 1843, Lukumi, along with other leaders from the enslaved community, led a raid which initiated what would be known as the Triunvirato Rebellion. First off, Lukumi freed the slaves who were being held captive. Lukumi also burned the house that had been used to torture slaves and violently killed the overseer's daughter. Finally, they began to see their 5-month-long preparation for freedom was bearing fruit. The tale of Lukumi's bravery and revolt, together with the other leaders, spread like wildfire. 5 sugar plantations were destroyed. Slaves rose up and killed as many white slave masters as they could find. They were hungry for freedom, and they took it by force. Unfortunately, the rebellion did not last long. Lukumi was captured and executed. Her body was tied to horses and dragged until she died. This did not stop the liberation spirit that had been turned on. Her followers continued to fight for freedom, but heavily armed Spanish colonial forces overpowered the fighting slaves and the revolt ended. No matter how hard the white masters tried to break the spirit of the black people, the resilient black spirit fought back. Eventually, in 1886, slavery was abolished in Cuba. There is a sculpture of Carlota Lukumi at the Triunvirato plantation, which has since been turned into a museum. Hope that story inspired you. See you in the next video.